Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am so excited to give you a sneak peek of a new product that is launching in just a couple of days on September 1st. Now, part of what you're going to see today is somebody woke up. Can you see who the special guest in my studio is today? She came in while I was working and fell asleep on the chair that I normally sit on to do my lives. And so I quietly slid her off to the side, hoping that she wouldn't wake up and interrupt my video. So it looks like she just stretched and went back to sleep. So hopefully she stays asleep for the next 45 minutes or so. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So part of what you're going to see today is already available. It's in the July-December mini catalog. However, on September 1st, in just 2 days, there is going to be a coordinating product that launches, and I'm so excited to share it with you. Hi, Deb. Welcome. Now, let's just pull up my video here and see who is joining me. Let's see. Come on, refresh. There we go. All right, who do we have? Okay, we've got Janet and Jacqueline and Deb. Thanks for joining me today, ladies. So what is this fantastic product that I'm going to be sharing? Well, first of all, it is a coordinating product with the Apple Harvest stamp set in the July-December mini. So the Apple Harvest stamp set is on page 54. I'll show it to you in a minute. It's a fantastic fall set. Anybody who likes fall loves apples, right? There's nothing like a fresh picked apple. And so this stamp set it was a must-have for me because I'm a huge fan of fall. But on Thursday, September 1st, I should know that because that's when I have to be back in school. We have a coordinating set of dies that coordinate with this already existing stamp set. Now, the dies are part of a special promotion. It's a while supplies last promotion. And so you're going to want to get them sooner than later because once they're gone, they're gone. They're not coming back. They won't be sold in any other publication other than this exclusive while supplies last promotion. So, somebody's awake. I've got to go let her out of here or she's going to meow her head off. Give me 1 second. Let's go. There you go. I should have known she'd wake up as soon as I started talking. All right. So as I was saying, we have this amazing set of dies that are exclusive to this promotion while supplies last. And you're going to want to get them sooner than later. Okay. So let me stop talking. Oh, hang on. Let me just see who else has joined me. We've had a bunch of people come in the last couple of minutes. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Doris. Hi, Gail. Hi, Regis. Hi, Jacqueline. Oh, first time making it to a live. Well, welcome. Welcome to my studio. I'm so glad you could join me. So let me flip my camera. I'm going to stop yakking. I'm going to show you the product and then we're going to make 3 projects. Okay. So here we go. All right. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to slide this over so it's centered better. Get my lamp out of the way there. Got a bit of a shadow, but I can live with that. Okay, we are good. So as I promised, this is the stamp set as it's shown in the July-December mini catalog. So it's on page 54. Here in Canada, the stamp set on its own is $33. Now you may have already purchased this. Not to worry, you'll be able to purchase just the dies. If you haven't yet purchased the stamp set, then you're going to want to look at the discounted bundle. Okay, so that is where you can find it in the catalog. Here is an up close and personal view of the stamp set. Okay, so we're going to be using several of these images and sentiments today. And then here are the fabulous dies that are coming out September 1st. So we have dies that coordinate to cut out the stamped images, but then we have this whole other group of dies that cut out apple blossoms and the centers of the blossoms and leaves and a branch. We have a cute little scallop border die, a label die, just a fantastic set of dies. So this die set on its own will retail for $48 Canadian. Okay, if you already have the stamp set. If you don't have the stamp set and want to purchase the bundle retails for $72.75 Canadian. Okay, and again, those are available September 1st, 2022. All right, so let's stop chit-chatting and let's get to some stamping. So I posted this card earlier today. I just love it. I love the bright green and the contrast of the red. And it just reminds me of fall, right? The contrasting colors and the beautiful leaves. So this is what we're going to make first. So let's pull this out. Thanks so much for sharing, Doris. I appreciate it. So to start, I have a 3x4 inch piece of Poppy Parade designer paper. So this is from the 6x6 color family stacks. It's this fantastic plaid. It's got polka dots on the back, which are almost as much fun. And then of course we have a mat here that is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. So what we're going to do first is just layer those two pieces together. So I'm going to grab just a bit of liquid glue here, just so that I can get this centered just so. Here we go. Get that burnish. All right. Then I have a piece of designer series paper. Now, can anybody guess what pack this paper is from? I'm going to give you a sec. It's not a super obvious answer. Here, I'll turn it over and this will probably give you a hint. Anybody know what paper pack that pattern is from? It's got the fun, colorful leaves on one side and the granny apple green on the other. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Sonia. Thank you for sharing. So can anybody tell me which pack this paper is from? Okay, I'm going to tell you because my comments are a little bit behind. So this is from the Host Celebrate Everything designer paper pack. Okay, it is in the Holiday Mini. I'll actually show you. It's way at the back and it's easy to miss. It's with the Host rewards. So right on the inside back cover, there it is, and there is that fabulous pattern. So this pack, it's a mega pack of paper. It's 48 sheets. And it's only $24.50 with Stampin' Rewards. So when your order qualifies for Stampin' Rewards, you can purchase this paper pack with your rewards. All right, so back to our project here. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. Oh, Jacqueline, you got it. Deb got it. Cheryl got it. You guys are good. All right, so we have our designer series paper. I have here a piece of Kraft cardstock that is 4 by, what is this? 1 1/4. I think. Let me just double check. 1 3/4. 4 by 1 3/4 inches. And I've embossed it using the Gingham embossing folder. And for me, it looks a little bit like a basket weave pattern when paired with the apples. I'm actually going to use this side, which I think is actually the emboss side. The side I was showing you is the deboss side. But this is actually another one of the Sale-a-bration freebies. This was part of the second offering that came out at the beginning of August. So you can get this Gingham embossing folder as your Sale-a-bration freebie if you choose. Now, I should mention, Sale-a-bration's ending tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day of Sale-a-bration. So if you have not yet placed your Sale-a-bration order, you're going to want to do that sooner than later so you don't miss out. So we're going to go ahead and glue our Kraft cardstock to the front of our card, or sorry, to the front of our designer series paper panel. And it's going to go about 1 1/4 up from the bottom. So I'm just going to take and add a little bit of adhesive to my Kraft cardstock, and I'm going to glue this on flush with the edges and straight across. I like to use my grid lines to help me get my pieces straight. All right, and then we are going to go ahead, actually no we're not, we're going to add a little bit of twine. So I have a cute little trick to show you. So this is the new twine that is in the Holiday Mini. It's got a little bit of a silver thread through it, and it's quite coarse. So to use on a card like this, it's going to create quite a bit of height on my card, and it makes it hard to layer over top of. So I actually like to pull this apart and get these sort of curly, sort of rustic looking pieces. So all I do is I cut my length, I separate the ends a little bit, and then I'm going to grab one of my threads here, and I'm just going to pull, and you're going to see how it gathers. I'm just going to pull that right out of there. Okay, so there's one, and I need a second one. Actually, I probably have enough here. I'm just going to fold this in half. So we're going to take this one strand and we are going to lay it across our panel. Okay, we're going to wrap the ends around the back and secure them with some glue dots. Kraft cardstock is actually, here I will show you, Jacqueline, it looks like this. It actually comes in a 6x6 pack. I have some right here within arm's reach. Okay, this is in the annual catalog. It's a 6x6 pack. You get 20 sheets, and it is sort of a, it almost looks like cardboard, like box board. It's just a little bit more rustic looking, and I think it works really well for fall. Okay, uh-oh, I'm out of glue dots. Look at that. Let's grab another box. We have one right here. As I drop it on the floor. There we go. Fresh box of glue dots for you. So let's just add one back here. And we're going to take and fold our twine in half. Stick one end into that glue dot. We're going to wrap it across the front of our card. I'm going to trim off all this extra length because I don't need it. And then we're going to add another glue dot and secure the ends into that. Okay, so now we have our twine on the front. Now we can go ahead and layer this onto our background. So this is another piece of that Kraft cardstock that I just was mentioning. And, oh, thank you, Deb, 139. Thanks, Deb, for having your catalog handy. Yes, this twine I find is a little bit heavy. It's great for gift wrapping and for handles for gift bags. I've used it a lot for that. But I find it is a little bit too coarse and too thick for cards. So that's why I like pulling it apart. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I should mention, this is another piece of Kraft cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's actually sized to fit over the entire front of the card. I'll just open this up for a minute so you can see my card base is actually white cardstock. But because this comes in a 6x6 pack, I can't cut a card base. Plus, it's a little bit thin to cut for a card base out of. It wouldn't be very sturdy. So I cut my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece, and it's going to layer onto my white card base in a few moments. So we're going to go ahead and glue our DSP panel to our Kraft layer. So we'll just add a bit of adhesive here. Hello, Mary from Newfoundland. Welcome. Is it feeling like fall in Newfoundland? I bet it is. It certainly was feeling like fall here on the weekend. It's certainly warmed up again. We've had a couple of hot, humid days, but over the weekend, it was feeling distinctly fallish. All right, so we have our white cardstock. This is actually thick basic white. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches. I scored it in the middle at 5 1/2. So we're going to go ahead and fold along that score line to create our card base. Hi, Claire. Welcome. All right, so then you're going to see that this is going to fit, hopefully I haven't measured incorrectly, this is going to fit right over our card front, just like that. So we're gonna go ahead and glue that. I do like to use liquid glue when doing this layer, just so that I can get it exactly right. So I'm just gonna use a fairly generous amount of liquid glue. And we're gonna pop this onto our card base, and then I like to just kind of wiggle it into place so that it's exactly aligned, so you don't see any white peeking out. Okay, so there is my card base. Now let's come back to our beautiful plaid DSP. That is going to get layered onto our card front, just with a little bit of adhesive. So we'll add a little bit of seal here. And we're gonna pop this on centered-ish. And you can use the little crosses on the DSP as a bit of a guide to help you get that straight. Okay, now let's look at this beautiful stamped image. So this is one of the images from the Apple Harvest stamp set. Is this one here. Now I've already stamped it in some black Memento ink, and I've started coloring it, but I've left part of it so I can show you how I colored both the apple and the leaves. So to start, I'm going to show you the apple first. So I wanted my apples to have a bit of a blush on them. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my dark So Saffron, and this is my Stampin' Blends, and I'm just going to add a little blaze of yellow onto my apple there. Okay. Hi, Tracy. Oh, hi, Judy from Wawa. Oh, Mary. Oh, so you're not Mary. You are actually Judy. All right. Well, welcome, Judy. I'm sorry you had that hassle. That's got to be really frustrating. Hi, Tracy. Hope you've had a good or having a good week. Okay, so I have now some light Poppy Parade. I'm going to come in and add a layer of the light. I'm not coloring over, completely over the saffron that I put down because I want that yellow blush to come through. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of the Poppy Parade. Then I'm gonna come in with my dark Poppy Parade, and I'm just kind of following where the shadow is on the stamped image. Stampin' Up artists are fantastic for helping us who don't have art degrees be able to color and have our images look like they are shadowed and shaded. And by just following what the Stampin' Up artists have done, you're going to get that beautiful shading. So now I'm coming back in with my light Poppy Parade, and I'm just blending out that bit of dark shadow that I added. Okay. Actually, I'm going to come in a little bit more here. Then I'm going to come back with my saffron. And I'm going to add another layer over that little blush bit, and I'm going to blend it into the Poppy Parade. And it's going to just blend so beautifully into that red. Okay, and that's how you get that blush look. All right, let's add some green to our leaves. So I have both dark and light Granny Apple Green, which coordinates with my DSP here. Hi, Rita, welcome. So we are going to add, again, start with the light. When I am coloring with Stampin' Blends, I know there are a lot of different methods and techniques to use. I personally prefer to put down a layer of light first, then add my shadow, and then blend it out with my light. I find the color moves a little bit better and it's easier to blend. When I just put the dark down, I find that I don't get it to move quite as well without that light layer underneath it. So I just added a little bit of dark, and then I'm going to come back with my light and I'm going to blend that out. Okay, and I'm not going right to the ends. I kind of want it to look shaded. So here I go again. So this is my last leaf. So we're going to start with the light. And then we're going to pull in a little bit of the dark. I'm not really doing a whole lot with the dark. And then I'm going to come back in with the light. Okay, and there is our beautiful branch of apples. All right, so that is going to get centered on our Poppy Parade layer. As soon as I find my dimensionals, there they are, they're hiding. Hi, Martine, welcome. Hi, Lisa, welcome. You have had a fantastic summer, my friends. I've been enjoying following your adventures. All right, so we are going to add a couple of dimensionals. We're going to get rid of our backings here. That one doesn't want to come off. There we go. And then that is going to go on just at a little bit of an angle because we're going to put our sentiment here. We don't want to cover too much of that beautiful image. Okay, so there we go. Now our sentiment is going to get stamped on this cute little banner. This is cut using the Stylish Shapes dies. I'm going to bring in a little bit of early espresso ink. Aren't those apples awesome? They're fantastic, and I love coloring them and playing with different colors and getting different varieties of apples. It's really fun to play with this set. So I've stamped my sentiment in some early espresso ink. And then we're going to go ahead and just glue this onto our focal image here. I'm going to put some seal on the back, and I'm going to put just a little mini dimensional, just kind of right here where it's going to hang off my leaves a little bit. It's going to go on. Let's try and get this straight. Sorry, my voice is a little croaky today. I haven't done this much talking in a while. I worry what it's going to sound like by this time next week. Because by this time next week, I'll have a full day of teaching in. All right, so we're going to add a little bow. So I'm going to pull out another strand, actually maybe 2 strands from this twine. So we're just going to go 1 and 2. Hi, Julie. How are you feeling? I hope you're healing I heard you had a rough week last week. Hope you are doing better. So we're going to try just a cute little double bow here with some of this twine. And I like the extra texture. I like that it's a little bit rough. It just kind of adds a little bit of that rustic feel to the project. All right, so we're going to trim off our excess here. Get rid of those. Oh, it's still too long. There we go. And that's just going to go down here right where the twine meets our top layers. I'm just going to put a little rolled glue dot. So I just took a glue dot off the roll and just kind of rolled it between my fingers and then press that in. It looks like it's tied around, but it's not. That's my little cheater way to do bows. Okay, now on the inside of this one, I didn't do anything. I wasn't sure, but there you go. There is number one. Nice full vibe going there. So let's get that out of the way and we'll bring in number two. Okay. All right, number two is this one. So I want to do something with a totally different color palette, a little bit softer, but still showcase the beautiful images and die cuts. So let's start by pulling out all of our bits and pieces here. Okay, so again, I have a piece of basic white. This started out as a 4 by 5¼ inch piece, okay? I stamped that same image, the same image I used here, several times, actually twice, down the side, and then I started coloring. Now again, I've left a couple of leaves. On this one, I actually used mint macaron to color my leaves. A little bit different, a little bit softer. So similar to what I did on the last card, I'm going to add my light first, but I'm not really worrying about filling in the entire leaf. This is a little bit different look. It almost looks a little bit watercolory when you don't color right to the edges. So I've added my light, and this time I'm just going to come in with my dark, and I'm not going to blend. I'm just going to kind of let it sit there and do its thing. It is going to bleed a little bit into the light, but I'm not going to blend it. Super quick and easy way to color your leaves. Okay. Now we are going to stamp an extra couple of leaves because we need some for our sentiment here. So we're going to set this aside for a minute. And I'm just going to ink up part of the stamp here. And we're just going to stamp it on some scrap. And I'm going to color a couple more of the leaves because we need them for our sentiment. So I'm going to come in again with my light. I like to use my brush tip for this because I feel like it looks a little bit more natural when I'm shading. I do use my bullet tip from time to time, but in this instant, for this look, I like the brush tip. Okay, so there are my leaves for my sentiment. We'll set that aside. All right, now back to this piece. This, as I mentioned, it started as a 4 by 5¼ inch piece. So then I brought in the Scallop Border die from the die set. It's this one here. And I cut it, so this ended up being about 2 3/4 inches, I believe. Okay, so we are going to layer that on a piece of DSP. So this is another DSP pack from the mini. It is not a fall pack. If I flip it over, you'll know. It is from the Painted Seasons designer paper pack, which is actually a carryover from last year's mini. But I thought it worked really, really well with the apple set, especially this leaf pattern. So we're going to go ahead and layer our stamped piece on top of our DSP. I should mention my DSP is 4 by 5¼ inches. So we're going to go ahead and layer this and hopefully get it. I should have put liquid glue on here. I wasn't thinking. Hopefully that's going to layer. It's hard for me to see white on white, but there we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, that is going to get layered on a piece of mint macaron cardstock. So remember how I used mint macaron to color my leaves? So this piece is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we're going to go ahead and layer that just like that. So let's add that. And we'll get that lined up. Just a narrow little 1/16 of an inch border. Okay, and then that is going to get glued onto our soft seafoam card base. I love the shades of green in this DSP, so I decided to use them as part of my color palette here. So we're going to go ahead and glue that onto our card base. I should mention my card base was 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Okay, so I folded in half along my score line. And now I'm gluing my panel onto the front. Okay. All right, now we have this beautiful label. Again, part of the die set. It's a fantastic set of dies. So many awesome dies in that set. And we are going to use this stamp that says the greatest gift is a good friend. And isn't that true? It is such a gift to have a good friend. So we are going to stamp this, and I have to say, some of my best friends are watching today. I love my stamping family. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this in the black memento again. Now we're going to attempt this. We'll see how it goes. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do a test run because I'm not having a lot of faith in my ability to stamp when I'm not looking straight down. Okay, let's cross our fingers and hope that's okay. Oh, it's not bad. I always have to worry because when I can't look straight down, anything can happen. All right, so there is our label. Now we're going to add a couple of die cut apple blossoms here. So I have a large and a small. There are 3 of each of these dies in the set. So we're going to layer them. Oh, thank you, Peggy. Hi, Diane. Hi, Krista. Glad you could join us. So I'm adding just a dab of liquid glue in the center of my larger blossom, and then I'm offsetting the small one. Okay, and just layering them like that. Now, let's go back to these little leaves, these extra leaves that we stamped and colored. We're gonna fussy cut a couple of them out. I could have used the die cut leaves, but I actually, when I was designing this card, I still had a couple of leaves kicking around that I had fussy cut from something else, and I thought, well, you know what? We're just going to use these. Plus, I kind of like that they echo what's on the card front. So I'm going to stamp these. I'm going to leave them actually kind of as a pair. And we're just going to layer them behind our blossom, just like that. So we'll add just a little bit of seal to the back of our blossom, and we'll just add our leaves, just like that, and hope that sticks. There we go. All right, then we're going to glue our blossoms right behind the left end of our label. So I'm going to add a little bit of seal to the end of my label here. And we're just going to layer that just like that. Okay. Now, before we put this on, we are going to add a little linen thread bow. So we're going to add... Oh, I know, the dies are fantastic, Jacqueline. They are what sold me on it. I hadn't bought the stamp set either until I saw the coordinating dies, and then I ordered the bundle. So I totally get ya. The dies sell ya. Oh, I know, Jen, it is a fantastic set of dies. What can I say? They are what put me over the edge for the stamps. I mean, I love the apple stamps, but let me tell you, as soon as you add dies to it and seeing how great these dies are, there was no contest. It was all over. All over but the ordering. All right, let's trim that off. So there is my little double bow. So I made it quite large because I want it to peek out behind my flower like that. Oh, and I think it might actually stick right there just as I did it. I had enough adhesive left on the back. So I'm going to put this on right where my sort of stem is kind of hanging there out in space. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals. We're going to use minis here to the back of our label here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Whoops, that's a little high. Let's move that down a bit. There we go. Oh, very smart idea, Julie. There you go. That's how you come up with the extra funds. All right, so let's layer that on there and hope it's straight. Attempt to get it straight. There we go. That looks pretty good. Oh, except I don't like that little, hang on, let's get that little tail below our label. I don't like it hanging out up above. There we go. That's better. Now, do you see how these are kind of all wonky? If you are struggling with your tails on your linen thread, all you need to do is kind of take and run it between a fingernail and the pad of a finger, and you can kind of train them, get them to go the way you want so they're not kind of flying every which way. I'm going to trim this a bit shorter. And there we go. Cute, right? I love this palette. It's a nice soft palette, very different, but equally pretty. All right, so there we go. That's number 2. Number 3, now I mentioned that this week is back to school for me. Our staff have to be in, well, we have a paid day on Thursday. I'm going to be in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, getting ready. But I always like to send my teacher friends a little something on the first day to just kind of say good luck and have a good year and all of that. So I thought, what better way to do that than with this awesome stamp set? So I designed this card, really fun. It says good luck, and then on the inside, not that you need it. So I'm going to give that out to a few of my teacher friends, and I'm going to show you how I made it. So let's pull in our bits and bobs here. So to start, I have a piece of, this is the, what's it called? Rustic Autumn, I think. DSP. I'm going to be featuring this suite in a few weeks. It has this beautiful sort of scroll work mossy meadow pattern on the back, but has this fantastic plaid on the other side. So that's the side we're going to be using. It is cut to 2 by 5 1/4. And then I have a piece of real red cardstock that, again, I've cut with that beautiful scallop border punch or die. And it is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to see just a little bit peeking out the top and those little scallops peeking out the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and add a bit of glue to the back. Hi, Linda. Glad you made it. You can always go back and catch the replay later. So no worries about being late. That's the beauty of replays. All right, so there we go. Now this is a little bit longer than my piece, so I'm going to just fix that up a bit. There we go. All right, now I have another piece of designer paper. Can anybody guess where this one comes from? Oh my goodness, 213 students, Tracy. Oh, the marking, I can't even imagine. I'm probably going to have that many IEPs to do this semester. I am in resource for 2/3 of my day. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of paperwork. So this DSP is from, I'll give you a hint, it's from a pack that is ending, or who is not going to be available much longer. So it's from Sale-a-bration. Oh, Chris, if I flip it, it'll give it away. All right, here you go. There you go. What's it from? All right, I'm going to give you guys a minute to think about it. This is going to get glued across the center of our DSP panel. Yes, it's flowers, but what is it, Tracy? Which pack is it? Which DSP pack? It's a Sale-a-bration pack. So this piece is Wonderful World. Very good. Yes, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay, so 5 1/4, yes, 5 1/4 by 4. I had to double check myself there. So we're going to go ahead and layer this pretty much centered across the middle. So we're going to add our adhesive. Yeah, it's going to be a lot, Jen, but you know, that's what they pay me for, so whatever. We're going to grin and bear it and get them done. IEPs are something that have to be done every year, and they're important. So yeah, I have 6 weeks to get them done. So that's the plan. All right, so there we go. We've got our layers. Now that is going to get layered. You know me and my layers, right? This card has like 8 layers on it. This is a piece of real red cardstock. It's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, so that is going to layer on there. So we're going to put another bit of glue on the back of this one. And we're going to get that centered on there, just like that. Okay, and then that is going to go onto a basic black card base. It is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we'll fold in half along our score line. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this one on. So let's add our adhesive and stick that one down. Okay, so now we've got that done, we can work on our apples. So I have already gone ahead and stamped and colored 2 out of our 3 apples. So this one is colored with real red Stampin' Blends and Mossy Meadow for the leaves, so both dark and light in both colors. And then I used dark, did I use dark? Yes, dark soft suede for the stem. This one, my Golden Delicious apple, is colored in so saffron blends. And then I used some Granny Apple Green, and so the dark Granny Apple Green and the light So Saffron to get the leaves. And then I used light Crumb Cake on the stem. This one, our Granny Apple, is going to be colored in, go figure, Granny Apple Green. So we are going to, first of all, is this light? Yep, I just needed to double check. We're going to put down our layer of the light first. So let's just fill in a nice layer of the white. Now you definitely want to use your brush tip when you're coloring this big apple. Otherwise you'll be there for 1.5 years. And you will see your brush strokes a little bit when you're using the bullet tip. So you want to make sure you're doing nice long strokes here so that you get those strokes to blend nicely. Okay. Even with that, you're going to see a little bit, but as I add my subsequent layers, we won't notice them anymore. All right, so there we go. We've got our lights laid down. Now I'm going to come in with my dark, and we're going to add our shadow. So again, I'm just following where the shadows are on my stamp, on the stamped image, okay? So I'm just kind of following that. I'm going to come down here a little bit. I'm going to come around the top and down this side. It's not going to look like much right now, but don't you worry. Once we blend this all out, it's going to look beautiful. All right. Okay, now we come back with our light. Now we're going to pull all of that dark shading out. Okay, so I'm using quite a bit of the light to get that dark to move. And you see how it's blending out? Okay, so we're going to come down. And again, you need to use quite a bit to get it to move where you want it. And that's also going to allow you to fill in those brush strokes so you don't see them. Okay, so I'm going to come around here and blend that out. And there we go. There is my yummy Granny Apple. Let's just fill that bit out. There we go. Okay. Now to color my, where did I put it? Sorry, I'm reaching for the wrong basket. Okay, so we're going to color our leaves using dark and light Old Olive. So I'm going to start with my light once again. Doesn't Old Olive look so brown next to the Granny Apple? Granny Apple has so much yellow in it. The Old Olive has lots of brown. It's a browny green. So I like to use contrasting greens when I'm coloring my Granny Apple, just so that it doesn't look like one big green blob. We have a little bit of sort of differentiation between the parts of the apple. And then I'm going to come in with my dark once again. And again, I'm just following where the shading is on the stamp. I'm adding a little bit where the veins of the leaf are. Wow, grammar. It's a good thing I'm going back to work. I better learn how to speak again. All right, so then we're going to come back in with my light and just blend that out. And that will give us some lovely shading on our leaves. There we go. Now there's a little bit of a line there that I don't like, so we'll get rid of that. And then we're going to add a little bit. I'm actually going to use the bullet tip on my crumb cake. This is light crumb cake to color my stem here. Oh, you know what? This might be dark. I don't know. Is it dark or light? It is dark. Grab the wrong one. Doesn't matter. There we go. Okay, so we have 3 yummy looking apples. So they are going to get arranged on the front of our card. So you're going to need to squeeze them. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but that's okay. They're going to get glued flat. So we're going to add just a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'll just use a bit of seal. It's faster. So we're going to start with our red one. It's going to go as close to that left edge as we can get it. And I like to have them sitting right along the bottom edge of the DSP. Kind of grounds them a little bit. And then we'll do our Granny Apple on the other side. Now your leaf is going to extend a little bit off the edge. Just make sure it doesn't extend right off the edge of the card. Okay. And then we're going to add our Golden Delicious. And it is going to go in the center. right about there. Okay, now our sentiment, I've already stamped and die cut this. So this is from the Charming Sentiments bundle. That is a must-have bundle, if you ask me, from the annual catalog. It's got sentiments for every occasion and then coordinating dies. So no fussy cutting. You get the fussy cut look without actually having to fussy cut, because who wants to fussy cut that inside part? Not me. And I like fussy cutting. So we are going to add a couple of minis to the back of our die cut here. And we're just going to pop this up, sort of overlapping our two apples on the right there. Okay, and then the last little touch is a cute little gingham ribbon bow. So this is our black and white gingham. This is in the annual catalog. So we'll tie a cute little bow. Love this ribbon. So we're going to make our loops fairly small because I don't want it to sort of dominate our apples. The apples are the star of the show here. Just gonna do a cute little bitty bow. So we'll trim our tails. And then that is going on with a glue dot. Yes, Jacqueline, you like Charming Sentiments too? Yeah, it is an awesome, awesome bundle. Long overdue. I wish we'd had it years ago. All right, so there we go. There's our cute little bow. Oh, hi, Jill, you made it. I was wondering if you were going to make it in time. All right, so our last touch here is a couple of these black matte dots. So we're going to add just a little row of 3 along this, in this bottom right corner. Now I always have to do this vertically to be able to get them straight. I don't know why. I find it easier to line things up vertically than I do horizontally. I don't know why that is. There's probably some like logical medical reason for it, or maybe my brain's just weird. But anyway, there we go. They are straight. Now I am going to stamp an inside. As I mentioned, I stamped on the inside of this one, not that you need it, because honestly, like plain black, we're not going to see anything that's written in there, right? So we are going to stamp not that you need it. And now I'm going to have 2 cards ready to go for the first day of school. So I'm just going to stamp that in some black, leaving lots of space for me to write my best wishes for oh, look at that. Oh, we got a smudge. Now what are we going to do? We need to stamp something. Okay, we got a little smudge up in the corner, so we are going to do an emergency repair here. We're just going to add a little bit of an apple branch up there. There we go. Problem solved. I'm not going to bother coloring it because black and white works. There we go. All right, let's add a little bit of adhesive. My seal did not want to let go there. And we're going to pop this inside our card, and then we're ready to go. Peggy, the apple die cuts will be available September 1st. They're not available yet. It is a special promotion that starts September 1st. It's while supplies last. So you, I think, subscribe to my newsletter, so you're going to get all that info on September 1st. But that is when they will be available. So let me bring back all of our projects for today, and then I'm going to show you a couple other ideas. So there are our 3. And here are some more because I love this bundle so much. So I wanted to do a card that featured just the dies. So this one is just dies. So I die cut the apple, the one that cuts out this stamped shape. I cut off the leaf and the stem, and I added some blossoms instead, and there's all the die cut leaves. I did lots of sponging on my apple to give it some shape and dimension. Okay, so there is one. Let me get these out of the way. You've already seen these. I'm showing you the extras. This is your bonus content. Here is another one, super simple. I wanted to show how beautiful the stamped images are just on their own. So there it is, stamped and colored, my little branch of granny apples. Here is a fun shaker card. I couldn't resist. I love these sequins, and they're the perfect color for granny apples. So I did this fun shaker. Here is a fun fold, a little bit different. So this is a book fold, but I actually made it into a tent fold by scoring both the front and the back. So it's almost like a matchbook when you open it. A little bit different. It kind of stands up like that, but there you go, black and white. And then one more, I actually just recorded a reel for this, and I will post that later this week that shows how I made this one. So there you go. Lots of ideas with this fantastic Apple Harvest stamp set and the Apple Blossoms dies. The dies again are available September 1st and are while supplies last. Okay. Thanks so much for joining me today, ladies. I will see you next week. I will have just completed my first day of school, so anything could happen next week. Who knows? And, but I will be here. Come heck or high water, I will be here. So I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.